and welcome to another video! Today, as you can tell by the title of this video, I am going to be talking about books that intimidate me. It appears I am easily intimidated by big books. So, you know how bookworms often say, like, I like big books and I cannot lie? Like, no. Big books scare me. But it appears from my brief research of the books I'm scared of, it's about books of 650 pages. If a book is about 650 pages, I'm terrified of starting it because I'm afraid of a commitment that big. Also, I hate it when my monthly wrap-ups are only one book long, and with the books in this list, I feel like they would be only one book long, and that's just something I don't want to have to do. So that covers the majority of the books in this list. They're just really long and I'm scared of starting them because they're long. And I've thrown a couple of books in there that I'm intimidated about starting because I've heard some things that have given me mixed feelings, like I've heard bad things or I've heard concerning things and I just don't want to get myself in there and then hate it. So I've thrown in a couple of them, but the majority of these are just big books that scare me because they're huge. So let's get on with it, shall we? The first book on this list is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, and this is G's favourite book, and G sent it to me for Christmas last year, and I still haven't read it because it's enormous and it scares me. Don't be fooled by the bookmark that's in there. I'm not reading it. My mum is, and she's loving it, by the way, so there's that. And that just adds to the frustration with this one. The fact that my mum's loving it, and G loves it, and everyone else that has read it has loved it, and I know that I will too, but I'm just scared of making the commitment to a book this huge. So I've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, and here we are and I still haven't read it. I will eventually at some point because I do really want to, and that is the case with most of these big books. I really want to read them. I'm just scared of the commitment of an enormous book. But this is definitely the case with this one. And I know that this is going to be like an incredible high fantasy novel that I'm going to love. I'm just a wuss. Unfortunately, that is the case. So yeah, there's one. The next book on this list is pretty much identical reasons, like it's enormous and it scares me and it's a commitment that I'm terrified of making, but I know I'm gonna love it because I know everyone else loves it. It's just something I'm scared of starting, but I know I shouldn't be because I know I'm gonna love it. And that is The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson, which is the first book in the Mistborn series, trilogy, whatever it is. I know that this is like the epitome of high fantasy. This is what other fantasy books are ranked against. This is like the fantasy novel, and I know I'm probably gonna love it when I eventually read it, but it's like 650 pages that I'm terrified of because it's huge. This featured in a haul of mine recently because Jake only recently bought it for me, and obviously with it being a recent purchase, I do want to read it, and I know that when I do, I will love it, but it's just me actually making that commitment that is the struggle. It's a big book, but I know I'll love it when I eventually read it. I'm so conflicted. This is the problem. I want to read them, but I'm just terrified of starting them because it's a big commitment and I've got so many books that I do want to read. Ugh. Next up is An Identical Story, a book I know I'm gonna love when I eventually read, but it's just so huge and I'm terrified to start it, and that is American Gods by Neil Gaiman. If you don't know by now, I love Neil Gaiman, but most people already knew that. And this is like a staple of Neil Gaiman's books, and this one is being turned into a TV show or something. I mean, I'll probably never watch it, but that just makes me want to read it even more. But the size of it, it's just enormous. So huge. But I know I will love it when I eventually read it, and this is one that's been on my shelf for years, like years. I got this back when I was in college. It's been a while and I still haven't read it because it scares me, quite simply. The size of it terrifies me because it's an enormous commitment. You've got to admit that for 3 books, that is a lot of pages. Can you understand why I'm scared? Please tell me I'm not alone in this being terrified of enormous books. The next book on this list is large in both length and just general size, and that is Moonchosen by PC Cast. This book is bigger than my head. It's huge and the size of it is huge, but the cover of it is gorgeous. Can you see the rainbows? The rainbows! Oh god, this book is stunning and I know I'm gonna love it because it's just gorgeous. This book featured in a Nerdy Bookworm box, which unfortunately doesn't exist anymore, and I'm still really sad about that. But when I unboxed this, I was so excited because it's so pretty, and from what I know about what it's about, it's very fantastic, lots of magic. It's about a girl who's heir to her clan and she's got unique healing powers, and then there's a rival tribe discovering gifts and stuff. It all sounds right up my street. I know I'm gonna love it when I eventually read it, but it's just hefty. I feel like this would be one that might be a successful read on audio, because I'm the sort of person that likes to carry their book around with them everywhere for any like given 10 minutes that I might have. And this would fill my bag. I wouldn't have room for anything else. So maybe audio would be the best way to go for this one, I don't know. Or an e-reader, but I don't like e-readers. So yeah, there's that. But can I just say again how pretty this book cover is? If you disagree, you don't disagree. Okay, moving on. The next one I have on here is a book that I'm scared about for other reasons. This is the last book in a series that I have loved so much. And the last book isn't exceptionally long, and on the contrary to what I said earlier about my only other reason being mixed thoughts, no mixed thoughts. I just don't want the series to be over, and I'm scared to see how it ends. I don't want it to end, etc, etc. And that book is The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater. I am so excited to eventually read this. Like, so excited, because I know I'm gonna love it, and look at it, it's tiny compared to the others, it feels so small. But I don't want this series to be over because The Raven Boys, Blue Lily, Lily Blue, Dream Thieves, I did that in the wrong order. They've just been so amazing and I've loved them so much, and I don't want this to be the end. And I know, is it something like a Ronin novel? Is she making a novel just about Ronin or something? Anyway, I don't want it to be over. But I'm desperate to know how it ends, but I don't want it to have ended. And I'm just a conflicted person, and I'm scared to start it because I'm scared to finish it. So that's why that one intimidates me. I've got a bookmark in there ready on chapter 1 for when I eventually pluck up the courage to read this one, because this is one that I desperately want to read. And I told myself I would finish the Raven Cycle this year, so I'm running out of time to do that, so hopefully soon. This has been on a couple of my TBRs and I've just put it off and put it off because I'm scared. And now you all know about it. The next one on this list is one that I'm really apprehensive about because I've heard so many mixed thoughts. I've heard some people love it, some people hate it, and there are a lot of people that seem to be in like a grey area about it. Like there's just something that doesn't sit right, and I don't know what it is because I haven't watched any spoilery reviews or anything where people talk about it. I just know that people feel that way, and I don't know if I want to feel that way, so I don't know if I'll read it or not, but I want to. Does that make any sense? Anyway, the book is Heartless by Marissa Meyer. This one isn't incredibly long, it is quite large. Again, American hardbacks are huge. Like, how do you carry these? Like, let's just compare to a nice UK paperback. Like, how do you guys carry these? Too big for me. Then again, I'm just tiny. I'm scared about this one. Obviously, I know it's not gonna have a happy ending. Because it's the Queen of Hearts and she doesn't have a happy ending. I'm just really put off by the whole thing and I don't know how I feel about it. So let me know if I should or should not bother with this one, because I don't know how I feel and I'm scared about starting it because I don't know how I'm gonna feel, basically. This takes me on to the last book I have on this list, and that is Ice Like Fire by Sarah Rash. I loved the first book in this series, like really enjoyed it. It was the first book I read in 2017 and I loved it. It got me off to a really good reading start of the year. I just haven't picked this one up since. One, I mean it's not enormous, but the size scares me a little bit. How many pages is this? This is only like 500 pages, so it's not actually even that big, so the size shouldn't put me off. But I've heard that this one is nowhere near as good as the first one, and that's what puts me off most, because I really loved the first one. I think I gave it 4 stars, but I really enjoyed it. Like, yeah, there were bits that were predictable, blah, 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 blah. If you want to watch my book babble on that, go and find it. But I don't want to kind of fall. Like, I don't want this to be bad, but I've heard that it is. So again, I want you to let me know, if you've read this, what you think of it, and whether, like, I probably will at some point read it, because I do really want to, because I love the first one so much, but I'm just conflicted, and I'm putting it off, I think, because of that, like, concern in me that I won't love it as much. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that one as well intimidates me for that reason. There we go. That's one big pile of books. There's only 7 books there, but the pile is huge because so many of them are huge. Here is said pile. Like, there's not that many books here, but it looks like loads because they're huge. Like, that's nearly the full frame unless I go like all the way back here. I'm scared of all of them. If you have read, I'm just gonna hug them. If you've read some of these books, let me know your thoughts and feelings and stuff. Obviously don't spoil because I haven't read any of them. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on them and prioritise them in which one I should read first. Ooh. Are they worth it? Are these books worth the read, I suppose? Other than The Raven King, because yes to that one. I'm just scared of ending the series. Are they worth me reading is my main question. So please let me know. I'm gonna put them down now because they're heavy. There we go, that brings us to an end. If you have enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up, chat to me down in the comments about everything. If you aren't subscribed and fancy subscribing, I'm always eternally grateful for that. I upload every Sunday and Wednesday and some odd days in between if I'm feeling generous, and I will see you next time. Bye!